Hi everybody, Nathan Ronan, CFA, here with another update. I'm targeting this to CFA Level 1 candidates, but it's equally applicable to Level 2 and Level 3 candidates, all regarding the question that I get many times about people doing sample questions, practice questions, blue box questions, end of chapter questions, QBank questions, and then taking their CFA exam and the questions are very different. And why didn't the prep materials that I use help me to be able to answer the questions? Because I walked out of the exam and I'm not feeling very comfortable. Very typical question I get, very typical fear I've heard for over 25, 30 years that I've been teaching the CFA program. If you'd like to continue and hear my answer, please press the subscribe button and the notifications button now so that you can continue to receive these updates as I post them on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. Well, it's really not uncommon for candidates to study for the Level 1 program, again, it could be for Level 2 and Level 3, and feel that any material that they're covering in isolation isn't really that difficult. And that snowballs into the idea that, oh, I can do this all alone and should have no problem and I'll ace the exam because, I took the securities exam and recently and I passed that, and I took my CPA and I passed that. Well, like I said in many of my other videos, just because you did well in biology doesn't mean you're going to do fantastic in physics. They're both sciences, but they're different, completely different thought processes, and they're completely different types of topics. Same thing with comparing CFA and CPA. But where am I going with this? What I think is important to understand is that a lot of times the questions that you're looking at, you really need to use the right resource. If CFA Institute is administering your exam, creating your exam, grading your exam, and giving you the result, why would you not use their resources, meaning their learning ecosystem and everything that's included in it, including their sample mock exams, their QBank, their reading materials, and go to a third-party provider? I think going to a third-party provider as your main source for trying to pass the CFA exam is not a very wise decision. Okay, and relying completely on prep books at any of the levels is not a wise decision. Might get you through Level 1, but you probably will not build out foundation that you need for Level 2 and Level 3, and you could get stuck at one of the upper levels, which is not a good thing. But when it comes to questions and the similarity between the questions that you're getting from prep companies or from sample exams and the real exam, the reason why you're not seeing the connect on the real exam is because of the way the CFA Institute structures their questions. Okay, the QBank, the learn and the blue box questions in their books, and even the prep materials, prep companies, QBanks, and mocking, they're all structured around quite linear questions, asking you a question about a topic, and you either know it or you don't know it. And the CFA exam is not exactly a linear exam when it comes to asking the questions. It's not a fill in the blank from the readings. Okay, so what you need to be prepared on your exam day for Level 1, and again, even Level 2 and Level 3, are questions that are going to integrate. They're going to synthesize multiple topics, multiple readings, multiple LOSs, and you're going to have to bring it all together in order to answer the question. Well, can you give me an example? I'll give you an example that you can apply to Level 1 very easily. You can get a question like this. Rajiv Gupta, CFA, is been asked to provide an appropriate measure of risk-adjusted performance for the firm's fixed income portfolios. The firm has been using the Sharpe ratio, but Gupta believes the information ratio would be more appropriate. To support his conclusion, at the meeting he makes the following 3 comments comparing the 2 metrics. Statement number 1, statement number 2, statement number 3. And then on the exam, the question will say something like, which of Gupta's statements is least accurate? Or it could ask, which of Gupta's 3 statements is most accurate? Okay. Now, what a lot of candidates will do is, learning with prep materials or just by assumption, write down the formula for the Sharpe ratio, write down the formula for the information ratio, have it in their notes, and study it expecting some kind of quantitative question. That's mistake number 1. Doesn't have to be a quantitative question. Okay. Obviously, if you just wrote the formulas down in your notes are not complete, and you're not able to basically answer that question. Number 2, okay, the Sharpe ratio and the information ratio are very similar in terms of their formulas. RP minus RF over sigma P for the Sharpe ratio, and then RP minus RB over the standard deviation of the difference between RP and RB for the information ratio. Great, so you know the formula. But here's the thing. The Sharpe ratio is a measure of risk-adjusted performance that's discussed in the equity section of the level 1 curriculum. And then the information ratio is mentioned in portfolio management. What are they doing? They're taking 2 similar concepts, integrating them from 2 different topic areas, and expecting you to bring it together. Now, this is an easy example that I'm showing you, but it gets even more complicated on the exam because they're going to take things from derivatives and economics, like forward contracts and currency exchange rates. And if you can't bring these concepts together on exam day, you're not ready to pass. So there's a lot of application of multiple concepts and multiple moving parts in the program in answering the exact questions that they're asking on the exam. Now, the example I gave you doesn't have to be on the exam. And then a candidate would ask, well, is that really an equity question or a portfolio management question? Well, since 2024, it doesn't matter because equity and portfolio management are all being tested in session 2, and the questions are jumbled and randomized. So it doesn't really matter. But if you can't see the similarities and you can't see the 2 concepts come together, active return over active risk, or a risk-adjusted performance return for a Sharpe ratio, then you're not ready for the level 1 exam. And they could do similar things at level 2 in an item set format, or they could ask it even in a 2-point essay, on the level 3 exam. But because all of these concepts are discussed in level 1, level 2, and level 3. So what I'm trying to tell you in a nutshell is, if you're studying everything in a box, compartmentalized with PowerPoint slides and bullet points, you're not really studying correctly for this exam. And that's why you're struggling with the questions. What can you do to fix this? Well, stop doing the same process over and over again. You've got the curriculum books, you know what's in the curriculum books, and you should be using that as your main resource. And then add on to that by working with somebody who's going to pull it all together. Me. That's what I do in the videos. I don't just do content. I'm going to go over the content, but I'm going to show you how to apply the content and bring the content from different topics together, like operating leverage and financial leverage, foreign currency contracts, forward contracts on foreign currencies, Sharpe ratio, information ratio. I can name 2 dozen off the top of my head of how you have to be able to integrate these concepts. And that's what I do in my lectures, in my courses, in my videos. Having an instructor just go over exactly what's in the book is redundant. Having an instructor that is going to help you put it together and have you understand it at the level of the exam is the key to passing level 1, level 2, and level 3, and demonstrating it with sufficient problems, not just doing end the chapter questions with you that you already have in your books and going over the solution. So think about how you're studying, think about how you're approaching it, think about all the money that you're spending for just the same thing repackaged, okay? Meaning taking the curriculum and just repackaging it with PowerPoint slides. It's not a real good way to pass your level 1, level 2, or level 3 exam. And that's all I wanted to say for now. If you have any questions, reach out to me on Chalk and Board. That's CHALK and AND board, BOARD, chalkandboard.org. And good luck with your studying for the level 1, level 2, or level 3. And if I can help you out, just reach out and ask your question, or just sign up and we'll do your study plan as quickly as possible. Have a great day.